I left my husband 2 days after our wedding because he asked me for threesome.
She left her marriage 2 days after her wedding because her husband asked her for threesome. Chai! This is one of those stories that sounds unreal, but it happened to a real person, and her name is Uchechi Sandala. Sandala got married on January 4th, 2025. And on January 6th, she already left the marriage. So she met this man who will be calling Mr. P on this video on Instagram 2023. Friendship turned to intimacy and eventually turned into a relationship. Right from the start, Sandala was very clear that she came from a very strict Christian home, that no sex before marriage. And Mr. P agreed, no pleasure, no complaint, because he seemed very calm, kind, and respectful. But there were a little question that kept coming up. Joint account, sharing of money, lending of money. She lent him money 3 times and he paid back twice. The third one, they were already in a deep relationship. Mr. P kept saying that he wanted to marry Sandra, and he started following Sandra's siblings on Instagram. And he asked for Sandra's father's number and pushed for bride price discussion. Everything looked serious. During the bride price process, Mr. P claimed that he was abroad and transfer wasn't working. So he asked Sandra to help him with some money. And Sandra did. The next day, Sandra's father called Sandra that her bride price has been paid. And later, Sandra discovered that out of everything, Mr. P only paid 500,000 for an Imo State girl. That didn't add up, but the father chose peace simply because she wanted the husband to take care of his daughter. You understand? The lie started showing up. Mr. P said he lived in UK. He lived in Russia. He lived in Australia. But Sandra eventually found out that Mr. P was staying in Cyprus. But that's one of the many lies. So Mr. P borrowed 7 million naira from Sandra for the wedding. And Sandra's family funded most of the wedding things. She pushed forward just because she was driven by love and the dream of getting married after graduation. At this point, let us pause here. Watch the main clip of Sandra explaining everything with her own mouth.
I left my husband 2 days after our wedding because he asked me for threesome. My name is Uchechi Sandra. I got married earlier this year, January 4th, 2025, and I left my husband January 6th, 2025. So for this video, we'll be calling my husband Mr. B. I met this guy on Instagram 2023. He was my friend on Instagram, then we became intimate. He asked me out and I accepted. While we were dating, I mentioned to him that I was from a very strict family and we could not have sex. And he said he was okay with it. The reason why I said that, because I'm from a very strict home and my parents are Christians. They won't accept that. And he said he was cool with it. This guy was actually so sweet. He was a very nice person. As of then, he didn't have any problem. He didn't talk naughty things to me. But there are some questions that he kept on asking me. If I can have a joint account with my husband, if I get married, we could share same account. And to be very honest, before we got into a relationship, there was a question he asked me. He asked me to lend him money, which I actually did. He refunded me the money the first time. The second time, he came again and told me to give him money, and I did. And he refunded. Until the third time, he came, he asked me for money, and I gave him. Not until this third time, because as of then, we're already in a relationship. This guy was all about, I want to marry you, I want to marry you, I want to marry you. That was how I introduced him to my sisters. Immediately, he went to follow my sister on Instagram, follow my brothers on Instagram, and the next thing he requested was for my dad's number. So that was how I knew how serious he was. So when Mr. B requested for my bride price list, we started having issues. And note, he was not in the country, so we decided to monetize the bride price. Note that evening, he was like, his transfer is not working. And he came to me and was like, please, I want you to transfer like 200k for my guy, which I actually did. And only to my knowledge, my daddy just called me the next day and told me that my bride price has been paid. I was like, how? Somebody that just complained about not having money a day before. I later found out that out of the whole bride price, the only money he paid was 500,000. And note, I'm from Imo State. We all know that Imo State bride price can never be 500k. So when he just paid the 500k, my dad did not really put much pressure, because he was like, just take care of my daughter. That was all he requested from Mr. B. Everything I knew about Mr. B was actually what he told me. He lied to me about where he was based. He told me he stays in the UK. Later, I did my investigations. I noticed he was not living in the UK. He later said he lives in Australia. They later said he lives in Russia, only for me to find out that he lives in Cyprus. That Cyprus is actually his main location. And to be honest, that's one of many lies he told me. On the day of the bride price, that was before the traditional wedding, he called my daddy outside and demanded for the sum of 2 million naira. And my daddy was like, he doesn't have, cause he has spent so much. And note that my family actually funded this wedding. He also borrowed money from me, over 7 million naira for the wedding. All these things is happening between 1 year when I was about graduating from school. As a young girl, I've always wished to get married after my graduation. So going back to the story of the threesome, after our wedding, the next day, he asked me for threesome with another person. I didn't know what to do at that point. Mr. B actually asked me for a threesome as my wedding gift to him. And to be very honest, I was really confused. This is actually part 1 of my Nigerian scam wedding. My husband scammed me, his family, and also 2 of my best friends.
Alright, you have watched that. I want to hear from you. What will you do at this stage if you are in a position? Share your thoughts via the comment section. Let's continue with the part 2 of it. A week before the wedding, Mr. P started trending online. Screenshot of him asking another woman to come over to have sex. He was asking for sex just weeks before his wedding. Chai! Someone close to Sandra's family saw it and alerted her sister. And Sandra's mother confronted Mr. P. And Mr. P forwarded the voice note to Sandra, carefully cutting out parts that will expose him. Watch the part 2 by yourself.
Welcome to part 2 of my Nigerian scam wedding, where my husband scammed me, his family, and my 2 best friends scammed me. A week to my wedding, my husband was trending on social media, which he requested for a girl to come and visit him at home. And he had already proposed to me before then, where he was telling the girl to come to the house to come chill. And the girl was like, few weeks to your wedding and you're here in my DM telling me to come around to come chill with you. And he was actually asking sex from the girl. When someone close to my sister found out, and the person lived in Lagos, the person reached out to my sister and was like, your sister is literally trending on social media, her and her husband. Then my sister immediately told my mom. So my mom reached out to him and was like, whose daughter are you trying to play with? He forwarded the voice note to me without listening to it till the end part. So when I rushed down to my mom, I was like, Mommy, what's going on? Because I didn't understand why my mom was saying, whose daughter are you trying to mess with? So I rushed downstairs. I was like, Mommy, what's going on? As at that time, my mom did not want to really hurt my feelings. She told me that she was pranking him. But I know there was more to it, because she sounded very heartbroken in that voice note. I reached out to him. I was like, if you don't tell me the truth, I was going to do something he wasn't going to like. I started pleading with my mom and had to tell my mom to beg me on his behalf, which my mom later spoke to me and was like, it's a mistake, let me forgive, because I'm a Christian. In the midst of this chaos, I hadn't actually seen the screenshot chat of him and the girl. It was now later that my sister showed me. With everything that went wrong, I was still a little bit traumatized, because why would you tell me that 1 week to your wedding, when we are all around, running around, planning this whole wedding, he's on social media messing around? I was actually very disturbed, and to be very honest, it started affecting me emotionally. 3 days to my wedding, he stopped picking my calls. I rushed to my mom. I was like, Mommy, this guy is not picking my call. She was like, it's just the whole wedding stress. My mom talked to me as an African mother that will always talk to her child, and like, oh, marriage is all about this, marriage is all about that. And I understood. So that fateful day, I sent him a message, a very loving message. This guy, Mr. B, decided to still snub me 2 days before the wedding to pay my dowry. I was actually upstairs sleeping when my junior brother came to wake me up and was like, Mr. B is here, him and his people. And note, I was very, very sick that day because I was down emotionally. I wasn't thinking straight anymore. So he came upstairs. Immediately I saw him, I was like, why are you trying to hurt my feelings so badly? We had a conversation concerning what was trending online. He just told me that it was an old chat of him and a girl talking randomly. And I chose to believe him because he had a big space in my heart. He began to apologize. He sweet talked me back and we were cool. Fast forward to paying my dowry. We traveled down to the village for him to pay my dowry. I went to the village. He requested that he wanted to speak to my mom and my dad, especially my dad. When he met my dad, he requested for 2 million naira. My dad was like, he already spent so much for this wedding. In our days of courtship, he used to ask me questions like, can you have a joint account with your partner? And I'm like, only if it's for the kids. He kept on asking those kind of questions. Sometimes he would tell me, can you give a man money? I found it really, really weird for a man to be asking you those kind of questions. But that time, I didn't really reason it because I was in love.
Alright, you have watched everything. What do you really think about this story? Things are really happening. Things are really happening. Share your thoughts via the comment section and I will be there to respond. To my lovely viewers, love should not silence your intuition. When questions keep repeating and answers keep changing, pause, because Somali does not fix red flag, oh. It only exposes them. To Sandra and everyone that has gone through something similar, walking away is not weakness, it was clarity. Healing might take time, but choosing your step is the first step. If you have thoughts or lesson or question, drop it via the comment section. And if this story move you, share and like this video. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel so that whenever we drop stories like this, you won't miss it. See you in the next one. Love you.